Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Tonight we'll have all your international, national, and local news. I'm Cade Montgomery.
And I'm Collin Winder. From worldwide political dilemmas to multiple newfound discoveries made, we will have all the important details.
Plus, you won't want to miss our reporters' inside scoop on an exciting musical masterpiece taking place right here at Point Park.
All this and more coming up on Newsnight.
A 6.5 magnitude earthquake struck Ecuador this past Saturday, March 18th, and at least 12 people have died, according to President Guillermo Lasso. Officials told ABC News that the earthquake happened at around 12:22 p.m. local time, and a second 4.8 magnitude earthquake was also reported at 12:28 p.m., just 6 minutes after the first one. The centers of both quakes were in the town of Bayolo, in the coastal province of Guayas, Ecuador's Seismic Institute told officials. Authorities told ABC News that the earthquakes were felt in 13 different provinces in Ecuador, including Guayas, El Oro, Azuay, and Chimborazo as the most affected. The first 11 people to be confirmed dead were all located in the El Oro province, and the 12th was found in the Azuay province. Many homes and other residencies along the Ecuadorian coast have reportedly collapsed. Authorities say that they have many search and rescue operations underway, with a heavy focus on the El Oro province, which seems to be suffering the most damage and currently has the highest death toll. The number of deaths could rise as teams attempt to rescue those trapped under rubble. The earthquake was also reportedly felt in parts of Peru, but no deaths have been reported. The story is still actively developing.
Violence erupted in Islamabad, Pakistan on Saturday following former Prime Minister Imran Khan's court appearance. The clash was between Pakistani security officers and a convoy of supporters that surrounded both Khan's vehicle and home. On Monday of that week, an arrest warrant was put out on Khan to attend court hearing discussing his various charges, including selling state gifts whilst hiding his wealth in financial declarations before the election commissions. Other charges include active corruption, terrorism, rioting, contempt of courts, and blasphemy. He agreed to appear on the High Court Saturday morning, in which hundreds of supporters armed with slingshots and sticks began a fight with a rally of security officers armed with tear gas and batons, which resulted in Khan's arrest warrant being canceled, as his attendance was marked from his vehicle instead. At the same time, Khan's house was raided by police to arrest supporters that engaged in violence earlier that week, which involved patrol bombs, which was an act of delaying Khan's arrest. In regards to the situation, Khan has claimed that everything he had done in office was lawful and told the BBC, quote, "Whether I am in jail or not, they will not be able to stop my party from winning," end quote.
The International Criminal Court in Hague has issued an arrest warrant for Russian President Vladimir Putin on charges of war crimes. This comes as the Russian invasion of Ukraine enters its 13th month. While many leaders across Europe, such as Ukrainian President Zelensky, hails this as a historic decision, the change of a trial is highly unlikely. Russia, much like China and the U.S., is not a member of the ICC and refuses to extradite those charged. President Biden stated in a recent press conference that the arrest warrant makes a very strong point that Russian aggression is not to be tolerated. From newly discovered plant species to the undercovering of a famous Roman aristocrat, our reporter Ashton Harder is here with an update on the multiple recent findings around the globe. Ashton?
A new species of orchid has been found in Japan. It has been determined to be part of the genus Spiranthes, which are often called ladies' tresses due to the resemblance of wavy hair. Prior to this recent discovery of S. hatchensis, there are only 3 known species of Spiranthes orchids found in Japan. Populations of the new delicate plant were found in Tokyo near the Hachijo Island, which inspired the species name. Researchers have reported the new orchid varies from purple-pink to white. The appearance of the petals make the orchid look fragile, and it has often been compared to glass. Individually, the petals measure about 0.1 to 0.2 inches long. The orchid also lacks a structure for self-pollination. And now for more findings. A once-in-a-lifetime discovery has been found during an archaeological dig in Leeds. In the newly discovered 1,600-year-old cemetery, the remains of 60 men, women, and children were found along the remains of what is thought to be a late Roman aristocratic woman. The woman was found in a lead coffin. Carbon dating and chemical testing are to be done to determine when the bodies were buried, their dietary habits in life, and their ancestors. In a news release, Kylie Buxton, an on-site supervisor for the excavation said, quote, "It is every archaeologist's dream to find a once-in-a-lifetime site. There is always a chance of finding a burial, but to have discovered a cemetery at such a time of significance, in such a time of transition, was quite unbelievable." End quote. The site had been discovered in 2022, but this is the first anything had been said about it due to wanting to preserve the site while tests are being done.
Protests in France have intensified as President Emmanuel Macron avoids his second motion of a no-confidence vote after his government orders a rise in retirement age from 62 to 64 without a parliament vote. On Thursday night, Macron ordered his unpopular reform through Article 49-3 of the Constitution that allows the government to avoid a vote in the Assembly for this action. In response, this past weekend, thousands took to the streets to protest the now growing distrust of their government, which resulted in at least 160 people being arrested Sunday morning. This was only ratified as Macron was once again brought to Parliament for a no-confidence motion this Monday, in which he avoided dismissal by only 9 votes. So far, the protests have not calmed down. It will continue becoming increasingly violent unless change is made. When we return, we will have national news updates on the recent bank collapse and its effect on the economy. Plus, stay tuned to hear about what bills are being proposed in Kentucky and Pennsylvania. We'll be right back.
Regular physical activity is one of the most important things you can do for your health. The benefits of physical activity include brain health, weight management, reducing disease, strengthening your bones and muscles, and improving your ability to do everyday activities. So, it's time to get up and be active.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Thanks for hearing me out, bro.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Donald Trump is back in the headlines once again as he announced that he expects to be arrested in connection with the years-long investigation into a hush money scandal involving adult film actress Stormy Daniels. According to CNN, Trump has called upon his supporters to protest this potential arrest and to support him. Trump referred to himself in a social media post where he wrote, quote, "Leading Republican candidate and former president of the United States will be arrested on Tuesday of next week," end quote. He did not include why he expects to be arrested in the post, but Trump's legal team has been anticipating this for several months, as another witness is set to testify before the grand jury in this case. Joe Tacopina, an attorney for Trump, said that Trump has made these claims based on press reports, telling CNN, quote, No one tells us anything, which is very frustrating. President Trump is basing his response on press reports, end quote. Trump has also allegedly complained that he believes he's going to be indicted just for the sole reason of Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg hating him. So far, no protests of the former president's potential of arrest have begun, and Trump has not currently been arrested.
The Silicon Valley Bank, which is the 16th largest bank in the U.S., collapsed on March 10th, making this the second largest bank failure since 2008. The cause of this failure was their seemingly secure multi-billion-dollar investment in long-term Treasury bonds, which lost value when the Federal Reserve spiked the interest rates to combat inflation. Because of this, SVB sold parts of the bond that prompted investors to withdraw large amounts of money, investigating a bank run, which resulted in many customers not having access to money, which disturbs their company maintenance. Even with the insurance guarantee of $250,000 from the FDIC, while this event happened 2 weeks ago, over 186 banks are still at risk for failure, as the interest rate spikes have devalued bank assets. And combined with the growing hysteria among investors, many people are withdrawing large amounts of money, affecting banks of all sizes and regions. However, a Wells Fargo analysis restates that, quote, "it really just a fear that gripped the market and is sort of self-perpetuating at this point," end quote. While President Biden reassures that, quote, "the banking system is safe. Your deposits will be there when you need them," end quote.
A recent bill proposed to Pennsylvania's House of Representatives by Republican lawmakers has been likened to Florida's infamous Don't Say Gay laws. House Bill 319 would ban the teaching of gender identity and sexual orientation to students in kindergarten through 5th grade, while also giving parents the option to opt their children out of student well-being questionnaires. These surveys are done several times throughout the year and ask students about the relationships they have with adults, their peers, and faculty members. These surveys are used to assess the healthcare and safety needs of students in grades 3 through 12. Opponents of this bill claim it sets a precedent to later ban all discussion of sexuality and gender for students at higher levels. With the beloved holiday of St. Patrick's Day just in our review mirrors, reporter Brendan McNamara is here with all the details on which two prominent figures celebrated together. Plus, hear about a cleanup program taking place in Minnesota after a hazardous leak. Brendan?
Thanks, Cade. As the nation and the world celebrated St. Patrick's Day on Friday, President Joe Biden hosted Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar in the Oval Office. Mr. Biden is only the second Irish Catholic to occupy the White House after John F. Kennedy. As he spoke to lawmakers on Capitol Hill for the annual St. Patrick's Day luncheon, President Biden recalled meeting his extended family members on a previous trip to Ireland. He made it clear that he intends to travel to Ireland to celebrate the Good Friday Agreement, which has now upheld peace on the island for 25 years. According to the New York Times, Mr. Varadkar said, quote, "I promise you that we are going to roll out the red carpet and it's going to be a visit like no other. Everyone's excited about it already," end quote. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Republican of California, hosted the luncheon and introduced President Biden, saying that he wanted the same kind of productive relationship that former Speaker Tip O'Neill had with Ronald Reagan. He said, quote, "Our goals can be the same, that we put this country first," end quote. Even with Washington as divided as it is, President Biden responded with a phrase not used often, saying, quote, "I agree with the Speaker. There's no reason we can't find common ground. There's no reason we can't hope to change the direction that the extremes of both parties are pushing," end quote. Later that evening, Mr. Biden hosted a shamrock presentation and reception at the White House to finish off a day of celebrating the Irish. Mr. Varadkar praised the United States for standing with Ireland throughout its history, from both Democratic and Republican presidents alike. However, he said that President Biden is special. He said, quote, "As we know, every American president is a little bit Irish on St. Patrick's Day, but some are more Irish than others, and I think it's fair to say we are celebrating our national day with the president who is unmistakably a son of Ireland," end quote. The President and Prime Minister will be meeting again in just a few short weeks when Mr. Biden flies off to Ireland. In less positive news, however, a cleanup is underway in Minnesota after a nuclear power plant leaked radioactive water. Approximately 400,000 gallons of water contaminated with tritium leaked from the facility located in the city of Monticello. The leak initially happened nearly 4 months ago. However, it was not known to the general public until last Thursday. According to NPR, Xcel Energy, the plant owner, reported the incident to federal officials at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, but did not notify the public at the time. The company released a statement on Thursday stating, quote, Xcel Energy took swift action to contain the leak to the plant site, which poses no health and safety risk to the local community or the environment, end quote. Continuous monitoring has confirmed the leak is fully contained and has not been detected anywhere outside the plant. According to NPR, the company stated that was because there was not an immediate threat to public health and safety, they decided to, quote, focus on investigating the situation and containing the affected water in concert with our regulatory agencies. We are now at a place where we can share with the public not only what has been done, but what we are going to do next. This timing allows us to provide the most accurate and complete understanding of the situation. The water is being diverted to a treatment system to prevent it from leaving the plant, and the company has inspected all pipes to make sure there were no more leaks. It is unclear what will happen with the recovered water, and Xcel Energy is consulting with state and federal agencies on how to dispose of it properly. The cleanup process is expected to take months to complete.
Kentucky lawmakers have passed a bill that limits gender-affirming health care for transgender youth. If enforced, Senate Bill 150 prohibits all forms of gender health care for minors, including surgery and hormone therapy, as well as allowing educators to refuse to use students' preferred pronouns. This bill also would forcibly end treatment plans for current trans youth utilizing gender health care. The bill has been delivered to the desk of the Democratic Governor Andrew Beshear. However, with the Republicans' majority hold, his veto can be overruled. The Kentucky branch of the American Civil Liberties Union quickly released a statement condemning the bill, stating, quote, SB 150 encompasses a host of new laws that are among the most extreme anti-trans attacks in the United States, end quote. The ACLU are among many trans advocacy groups that are fighting to make access to gender-affirming health care a right. Coming up after the break, we'll have all your local Pittsburgh news. Find out more about what new attraction will make its debut at Pittsburgh's most adored amusement park. Plus, hear from our reporter Addison Deal about a student-led theater production taking place on campus. Stay tuned.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to
Daybreak.
Chicken Guy opened in PPG Place on Monday.
The bridge would open before the 1 year marks to check out the 20th annual gingerbread display.
Share with you this week's Ray of Sunshine.
We are still somehow hanging around in the playoff.
It gives Georgia Democrats some hold onto the governing body.
200,000 people still in harm's way.
This weather is perfect for those cozy nights indoors.
Smell.
Hey!
I'm an actor in an ad that was given 12 seconds to remind you that if you're high, just don't drive. Because if you feel different, you drive different. It's illegal to drive high everywhere anyway.
Our local ice cream shop is opening up a brand new location, and a Penn Township couple will operate the store. Millie's Homemade Ice Cream will be opening a new store in the Blue Spruce Shops in Murraysville, which will be operated by couple Brian and Lori McBaron. According to the Trib Live, the couple previously operated one of the Millie's food trucks and are excited to take the next step with the company, opening their own franchise. This is also exciting for Millie's, as this will be their 10th location. When the company first started, their products were mostly sold in grocery stores and restaurants before opening a storefront in Shadyside in 2016. Brian McMahon told the Trib Live, quote, "It's very visible and accessible. There's no specific dessert places here, and people can walk here after dinner," end quote. He also said that he and Lori love that they are able to tell customers that their products are largely sourced from local suppliers, saying, quote, "It's great that the dairy comes from Twin Brook Farms in Washington. We're Pittsburghers and we want to support other local businesses," end quote. The McBarons hope to have the location up and running in May, but you can visit Millie's Homemade Ice Cream's website for more information on updates in this new location.
As of Monday this week, Pittsburgh officials announced that the city has been granted more than $3 million in grant money from the state in order to fulfill future and current infrastructure projects. This includes an extra $250,000 to specifically help pay for Department of Public Works facility that will focus on street clearance in the South Hills, along with an additional $500,000 for maintenance equipment that will go to the newly founded Bridge Maintenance Division, which will aid in a larger ambition to preserve and repair the Pittsburgh bridges to avoid possible collapses. These are only a few of the major improvements Pittsburgh hopes to utilize in the next coming months. The city will also be reveling in sidewalk and road improvements in selected neighborhoods.
While Pittsburgh is still facing a recent cold front, city officials are already planning for the upcoming summer season. Lifeguard recruitment began last week, and the city park's aquatic team are still looking for applicants. Department of Parks and Recreation Director Catherine Vargas said in a press release, quote, "We continue to work hard to garner increased interest in becoming a city parks lifeguard. Hourly rates have increased from last year and will range from $16.48 to $19 per hour based on experience," end quote. The number of pools that will be able to open this year will depend on how many lifeguard applicants are accepted. The press release says last year 12 pools were able to open, and this year they would like to open all city pools. Additionally, City Parks has partnered with Pittsburgh Public Schools to host Lifeguard Academy classes at Westinghouse High School in Homewood. Applicants must be at least 16 years of age by September 5th of 2023 and already a City of Pittsburgh resident. Applicants must also be willing to work at any city pool that they are assigned. Reporter Juliana Brock is here with all the details on a college hockey player facing criminal charges and a long-lost veteran who's finally coming home. Jules?
Carson Briere, the son of the Philadelphia Flyers interim general manager and former player, has been charged in connection with pushing a disabled woman's wheelchair down the stairs at a bar. Briere plays hockey at Mercyhurst University in Erie and was at Sullivan's Pub in Erie on March 11th. A video posted on Twitter shows Briere and his friends standing at the top of the steps, sitting in the wheelchair, then pushing it down the stairs. The woman who owns the wheelchair was taken downstairs by security to use the staff restroom and left the chair at the top of the steps for when she got back. Nate Sanders, the head of security at Sullivan's, told CBS that it, quote, sounded like someone fell down the stairs. Sanders and the rest of security helped carry the woman back up the steps into her wheelchair, then kicked Briere and his friend out of the bar. Briere was charged with criminal mischief, disorderly conduct, and related offenses. His friend, who also attends Mercyhurst University, Patrick Carosi, was also charged with the same offenses and got kicked out of the bar. Carson's father, Danny Briere, released a statement saying, quote, "I was shocked to see Carson's actions in the video that was shared on social media yesterday. They are inexcusable and run completely counter to our family's values on treating people with respect. Carson is very sorry and accepts full responsibility for his behavior," end quote. In more lighthearted news, the remains of a World War II pilot have been returned home after 79 years of being missing in action. Lieutenant William B. Montgomery, a 24-year-old from Ford City, Pennsylvania, died on June 22, 1944, when his B-24H Liberator bomber named Wolfpack crashed near the coast of the United Kingdom. Montgomery's nephews, Bill and Braden, told his story of bravery regarding when he told his crewmates aboard the aircraft to, quote, bail out and save themselves before the plane hit the ground, making a 20-foot hole in a British farm field, taking the lives of Montgomery, his co-pilot, and navigator. After the war was when Montgomery's family was told his remains were unrecoverable. But thanks to aircraft archaeologists and Army forensic teams, his remains were found along with his W&J college ring. There is no given date for the funeral being held in Arlington yet, but Montgomery's family is relieved to have him finally rest in peace.
This coming weekend is the opening weekend for the Bridges Theater Company's production of Ride the Cyclone here at Point Park University. Newsnight reporter Addison Deal was able to get a behind-the-scenes look at the production and an interview with the director and choreographer of the show. Take it away, Addison.
If there's one thing the Playhouse offers, it's unforgettable theater for all ages. The Bridges Theater Company is a student-started organization that puts on productions here in the Playhouse. I'm here in their rehearsal space of one of their latest productions, a newer musical called Ride the Cyclone. Ride the Cyclone is a comedic show that follows the story of 6 students on a field trip to an amusement park. After an unfortunate accident, all 6 students are trapped in a purgatory where they must compete to be the sole survivor.
This super new contemporary musical that has not hit Broadway yet, it's been going around the regional scene, but it's something that has never premiered in Pittsburgh. And it's something that many people know is like kind of this little hidden secret of the theater community right now that's ready to just explode.
Director Jeremy Welch has many hopes about this performance.
A big part of this show is examining what it means to be alive, what is the good, what's the bad, etc. And I really want the audience to take away that life itself is beautiful.
Choreographer Lauren Rotante has some exciting ideas for the musical numbers and some unique challenges.
Each song in the show is a different genre of music. So there's one day that I'm choreographing hip hop, like super fast, upbeat, and then there's another day where I'm choreographing a Ukrainian folk dance number, and then another show where I'm choreographing sexy cats.
The show's opening night is on March 24th in the Raw Theater. Tickets are available on the Bridges Theater Company website. In the Pittsburgh Playhouse, I'm Addison Deal reporting for Newsnight.
Thank you, Addison. Opening night for Ride the Cyclone is Friday, March 24th. To get your tickets or to simply learn more about the Bridges Theater Company, visit their webpage at bridgestheaterco.wix.com.
Pittsburgh amusement park Kennywood is adding a new attraction which is the first of its kind in the United States. It's called Spinvasion, where riders board what looks like a spacecraft and fly across the skyline of Pittsburgh, defending the city from aliens. Kennywood says, quote, "One moment you crisscross up and down with other pilots, and the next you are rolling together in giant waves to defend the city from alien invaders," end quote. This new thriller attraction will be located in the newest base of the park called Area 412. Kennywood says that this is where, quote, "Earthlings and friendly extraterrestrials from planets near and far will prepare for an exciting aerial battle," end quote. Riders will go through Area 412, located near the Cosmic Chaos, before entering Spinvasion. Kennywood fans can also expect a complete remodel of the pizza warehouse located near the Aero 360 and Kittyland. The park's opening day for summer season is scheduled for April 22nd. When we return from this break, hear about a woman and her best friend who were reunited after 10 long months. Also, stay tuned to hear your Pittsburgh weather update with weather reporter Alex Zahnizer. We'll be right back.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
After 10 months apart, an Afghan refugee had a heartfelt reunion with her dog, Lucky. Freshta Siddiqui, who now lives in British Columbia, had a difficult decision to make when hurriedly departing her home country of Kabul. After the Islamic Emirates took control of Afghanistan, SPCA International was flying home pets of refugees and paying for boarding in Canada to keep the animals safe. Siddiqui decided to take the chance on the flight, having to wait 10 months before being reunited with Lucky and her cat Leo in Vancouver, Canada. Siddiqui told CBC shortly after the reunion, quote, "Lucky means family to me. Lucky means a part of my heart that was gone, and now I've got him," end quote. Is Pittsburgh finally seeing the starts to spring? Our weather reporter, Alex Sonneiser, is here to give you your local Pittsburgh weather update. Alex?
Thank you, Cade. It looks as if Pittsburgh is finally escaping a second winter as the temperatures shoot up like spring flowers. The forecast for tomorrow will reach the highest temperature of the week, peaking at 68 degrees. However, don't expect to see the beautiful spring sunshine as April showers are anticipated to pour down. Tomorrow's forecast expects a 94% chance of heavy rain showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. The breeze is predicted to pick up as well, with gusts reaching speeds of 30 miles per hour. Now, let's take a look at the rest of the week. This week's forecast is not expected to see much sunshine at all. Have your umbrellas handy because Friday and Saturday will see more heavy rainfall and periodic thunderstorms. However, we should be seeing a short-lived break through the clouds with a mostly sunny Sunday before a return to another dreary week on Monday. Throughout the week, the temperatures will continue to stay in the low 50s to mid-60s range, but drop back down to the mid-30s to high 40s by next Wednesday. That's all I have for you this week. Now, let's send it back to the desk.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Newsnight. If you want to see more, check out our social media pages on both Facebook and Instagram at UView Television.
You can also check out more episodes on our YouTube channel for our website, uview.pointpark.edu. I'm Colin Winder.
And I'm Cade Montgomery. From everyone here at Newsnight, thank you for watching and have a great evening.